I am a trained hip hop dancer, self-taught. So to learn how to dance on my toes and point my toes was really hard. Hi there, my name is Mishi, and in this video I will talk about my honest experience as a cheerleader in Australia. So I did cheerleading a few years ago. I did it for 3 seasons, so 3 full years. I absolutely loved it. I was cheerleading for the NRL, which is the National Rugby League in Australia. As you can see on some of the clips, we look so lush, so glamorous. I loved it. We really did follow DCC as our inspiration. We didn't necessarily copy them, but we just idolized them, and we just loved the standards that they have set in football style cheerleading or stadium cheerleading, and we aspired to that so much. Okay, auditioning. Auditioning was quite intense, and you do build resilience. You know, you learn how to carry yourself in a process like that. So there's the actual audition day, which happens around the calendar year before. And that's just a one day. It's on an afternoon. I think starts at like 6 or something. And it goes for a few hours. You get your number. You arrive in your own clothes, in your style. And then, of course, there's the different formats like lining up, doing turns, jumps, leaps. Then after that, we learn the choreography. Then we do the choreography with the pom-poms. I think there's also a freestyling element as well. It was very short, you know. That was just to prove that you can dance, but I don't think the freelancing carried you. I think what really carries you into the group is how you learn choreography and how you dance it and how you perform. Then after that, you perform the choreography in smaller groups where you will be judged, and there will be a panel of judges that do assess you and see if you are able to make it through to the next round. So the next round after that, which is the next calendar year around January, is training camp. A little bit different to DCC, but training camp is once a week on a weeknight, 4 weeks or 5 weeks. And we pretty much learn new sets of choreography. We have to learn it very quickly. And of course, there's elements of elimination. So the first day of training camp was like an information session where we got a folder with all of the information, all of the expectations. And that's honestly so helpful because it gives you like a full idea of what you're getting yourself into. When you audition, you sort of don't get those details, you know, the who, what, where, when, how often do you have to perform, when are the rehearsals. So you get that all laid down. So you know if you continue on and you audition and you make it, then yeah, you're committed to that season. You're committed to that whole year pretty much. So the information was great, you get to ask questions. And then the next day was the full training camp where we start practicing. So yeah, it's a little bit scary, like week by week, there are eliminations. You sort of get called, like, can I please speak? Like at the very end, they're like, okay, everyone's dismissed for tonight. Thank you so much, we'll see you next week. Then they'll be like, can we speak to so-and-so, so-and-so, and so-and-so? And you're like, you know, and then usually there's a bit of a talk there, like a private conversation between the manager and that auditionee, and they'll sit down in a public space in that room that we're training in, and everyone's packing up, saying goodbye, and they're having that conversation. So it's very transparent, it's very honest. I do like the way it's managed, and I think it just goes both ways. Like, you know, if you are going to have that talk or you are being eliminated, it's for a good reason. So I never had that talk. I worked so hard for my first audition. Like I danced my heart out. It was like the hardest thing ever. I was so nervous. I was so scared, but I used that to my advantage just by being competitive and just being strong and really wanting it. I really wanted to join this squad, and I made it. It was awesome. I made it, you know, through to training camp, and it was such a fun experience when we were announced as the cheerleaders. But yeah, you definitely build skill sets like resilience, stamina, and fitness. So we will talk about rehearsals. So rehearsals were also on once a week on a weeknight from 7 p.m. to 10 p.m. for 3 hours. And we had to get through quite a lot. So any announcements, news, costume fittings, stretching, warm up, choreography, and going over anything else. So you had to commit to every rehearsal. Rain, hail, or shine. Okay, let's talk about the choreography. So the style is very like glam girl. Yes, it's very DCC. You have to dance on your toes and have really good posture, really looking cute, sticking out that hip. So it's very different to what I was used to. I was actually I am a trained hip hop dancer, self-taught. So to learn how to dance on my toes and point my toes was really hard. Even during the warm-ups, I really struggled with like turns and jumps jumps and leaps. And yeah, that was hardly in the choreography. Like that sort of jazz ballet technique, that was never in it, but we still had to do that, and I would get so dizzy during the turns. But yeah, so the choreography is very strong lines, strong execution. We didn't do all-star type of cheerleading where we get lifted, and we don't do that sort of bring it on. I don't know what that's called yet. Bring it on all-star. We don't do that. It's really much like jazz funk, but we're using pom-poms with straight lines. So flexibility, that's also a component that you need to have when you dance in any sort of cheerleading. We do the kick line as well. We didn't do the jump splits, but eventually we were going towards the jump splits. I was able to do the jump splits on the leg that wasn't used. So I think I can do it with my left leg in front, but I think the squad did it with their right leg in front. Lucky enough, I was the shortest one. I was actually at the end, so I could have gotten away with it, but I didn't do the jump splits because I just never had the opportunity to perform, but I did do it in the rehearsal. Okay, self-control, eating, diet, that's definitely a major component when you are a cheerleader, just because of what we're wearing. And it's not a bad thing. I do think it set me on a path for healthy eating, conscious eating, being aware of what I'm putting in my mouth. At that time, I was working in a corporate marketing role, and like there's always cupcakes. I don't know, just every Monday someone's like, oh, my daughter's birthday, here's cake for everybody. And I'm like, why are you giving me cake? Why is there cake in the kitchen? Like, I want to eat that. You know, so a lot of self-control. But what I did intermittent fasting. So I was still able to eat it, but during a certain window, during a certain time frame. So I would say, oh, thanks. Cool, thanks so much for the cake. I'm gonna eat it during lunch. So yeah, it also set me on a path for like not staying up late, not going out, not going clubbing. Okay, game day. Let's talk about that. And performing at stadiums. Wow, that was like a big wow for me. Never had to perform in front of thousands of fans or thousands of people, because it's like a all-round arena / stadium. We still have to look forward and look straight and not be overwhelmed with all the crowds. But it was definitely like huge. Like we would be down at the bottom of the stadium in the green room, and we would have to walk through all of the tunnels to go out onto the field. And we had to also go upstairs on the main concourse to say hi to the fans. And so therefore on game day, we had to be there like a few hours before our performance. A few hours before the game started, kickoff. So if kickoff was 7:30, we had to be there around 5 or 5:30, because we have to greet the fans at the gates, which was also part of our role. And so that means if you work backwards, you have to do your hair and makeup before you arrive. We weren't allowed to do our hair and makeup there, just because we weren't allowed access into the stadium anyway, too early. And yeah, like the room that we got was so small. It was like 30 of us girls in one tiny locker room. So there's no mirrors or anything for us to do hair and makeup. So we were better off doing our own glam before we get there. Okay, let's talk about the fans. We absolutely loved them. They were beautiful. They were very friendly, very passionate about the team. They really did see the cheerleaders as part of the team, you know, but in a business arrangement, we were actually like external suppliers of entertainment. But yeah, we were obviously branded as part of the team. We got to chat to the fans, take photos with them. Also the kids absolutely loved us. We signed posters for them, and we would also attend community days, fan days, which was also part of our responsibilities. Okay, let's move on to the weather. So here in Australia, we have NRL during the winter seasons, during the cold season, the autumn and winter, and it was so cold. Like, yeah, we would pretty much freeze on those seats. If our team did not score, we would be sitting there freezing. But luckily, we had like matching jumpers and matching pants. We had blankets to keep us warm on the seats. Sometimes we were able to double up on our stockings because, you know, we like wanted the layers to keep us warm. So the tan stockings were able to, I guess, disguise that you're wearing double. But that's just something to consider when you are doing NRL versus basketball, is that it is in the winter cold season. Another thing to bring up is personal items, and I guess the cost for those things. So anything personal that you wear, you have to pay for boots, poms, any jacket, pants, anything personalized, you'd have to pay. And so of course, the manager will do her best to get everything in bulk for the 30 of us. But per unit price, she doesn't make a profit. We would just have to pay, say, $50 for the boots, $30 for the POMs. And if each year was a different POMs, like a variation of the POMs, or each year we might have Converse shoes to add as part of the uniform, or there was some accessories or personal items that we had to buy year to year. So be mindful of that if you are working in a role where you don't earn a lot of money. So which brings me to my next point. Like, I was full-time in marketing, so this was just a hobby for me. Like, I was okay to spend the money because I wasn't in it for the money anyway. I was just there for the fun. And I just absolutely loved making friends, and I developed a very beautiful friendship with the manager and a bond that is unbreakable. And so I stuck around. I loved it. And it wasn't really about the money. I knew that cheerleading's not forever. I knew that one day I was going to retire, get married and have kids. So I made every moment precious. I cherished every moment. Self-tanning. Okay, that's a thing. We have to self-tan every week. It wasn't that you had to. I mean, you sort of had to, but you actually looked really good. Like, it was so flattering to be tanned and be in the uniform and have glowy skin, like a glowy stomach. And, you have to obviously get foundation that matches the self-tan. But I loved it. Normally, look at me, I'm very fair. So tanned make me look like I was in the Bahamas for like weeks. But that's just something that I had to do. We all had to do during winter. Oh my gosh. I mean, not talking bad about it, but if it was if it was a Thursday game, that means that I have to do self-tan on Tuesday night after work, after the gym, in the cold. And when you put on the self-tan around the ribs, it's like so cold. Near the bones. But other than that, put it on over your legs, your toes, your thighs, your back. It's hard to do the back areas. So it wasn't a pain in the butt, but it was just something that you had to do. And you just, you sucked it up. You're like, okay, got a tan now, Whereas if you want to just sit on your bed and just scroll through TikTok, then but no, we have to tan. Okay, obviously we have to show our stomach. There's no shortcuts. There is no hiding. It's just to show that we are athletes as well, that we can dance, we can look beautiful, and we can be fit. And the thing with showing your stomach is that you can't shortcut your way to a flat stomach. Like, you have to do dieting, and you do have to do fitness or some sort of weights. Like doing it the healthy way and the slow way to weight loss and managing like stomach management is the best way. Okay, doing your hair. I didn't know how to even curl my hair with a curler before doing this. So that's something that you have to do. You have to curl your hair with a curling iron. Then you have to brush it out to soften it and make it bouncy. So that's a skill and an art that you have to perfect, or you have to, not be perfect, but it's a skill set that you have to develop, and over time you find your groove. Traveling and traffic. So depending where you live and where the stadium is, there's quite a lot of driving around Western Sydney. That's where our team was. And so I'm pretty much doing like 45-minute drives to the stadium, or half an hour drive, but like 15 minutes to get in and out of the stadium. And again, half an hour to go to rehearsals on Tuesday night. So that's just something to consider if you are a young professional or a young adult and you are struggling with car or travel plans. Be sure to be committed to, how to get around for those commitments. But let's just end with the last tips and takeaways if you're looking to do cheerleading. Don't do it for the money, especially for NRL. To be quite exact, we got like $120 per game, 120 or sometimes 150 or sometimes 100. We had to agree to how much we were going to earn to allow how many girls can perform on that game day. So if we had more girls performing, we earned less. But of course, we wanted everyone to perform, These are memories that we're creating. So again, I didn't do it for money. The cash that I got, cash in hand, was nice to have, but not essential. Have a strong mindset and be very positive about your whole experience. If you are experiencing difficulty, speak to your manager about that. Speak to someone, don't keep it to yourself. But definitely have a strong mindset when it comes to dieting and exercising and stretching and driving there and doing your hair and makeup. And always ask yourself why you are doing it and give yourself an end date. If you're young and you're like 19, you're going to do it for the next 10 years. That's awesome. But ask yourself if you do love it, and if you do like it, continue on and just be positive. Have a health plan. So whether you're going to stick to just eating healthy all round or doing intermittent fasting or whatever your plan is, have a health plan. Like, are you going to eat more vegetables? Are you going to have more fruits? Yeah, don't go crazy on signing up to a fitness plan. I don't think it's about fitness, but it's usually about what you put in your stomach. Last tip on how to dance when you are a cheerleader for the NRL is to look cute, look glamorous, dance on your toes, keep your back straight, have your posture up, bounce, stick your hips out. That's what's going to get you to get to the next round, to training camp if you are auditioning. But overall, smile, have a big smile, facial expressions at a minimum when you're dancing or auditioning, but holding that smile. So being a showman, having showmanship, smiling, you know, really engaging with the audience that way. But yeah, comment below, what do you think? If you have any questions, let me know. Thank you for watching. See you in the next one. Bye.